Afghanistan Energy Sector. The Ministry of Energy and Water. Currently, Afghanistan Power Sector is governed by the Ministry of Energy and Water and operated by the National Electricity Utility to Afghanistan Breshna Shirkat. The Ministry of Energy and Water plays a key role towards power sector development in Afghanistan. It is currently mandated to plan, develop, and implement policy initiatives, manage the quality and reliability of the national power system, regulate the power sector, expand the country's generation and transmission infrastructure, improve national energy efficiency and conservation, raise public awareness, conduct research and development. The energy sector. Afghanistan lies in the heart of Asia, bonding together 6 countries that share its borders: Pakistan, China, Iran, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. Its strategic location along the Silk Route puts it in a great position to link the markets of South Asia, the Middle East, Central Asia, and China as a transit and transport hub. Energy access is a high development priority for the government and is the second priority after rule of law. The government of Afghanistan recognizes that long-term sustainability of the country's power sector would largely depend on its ability to become self-reliant and self-sufficient in power generation. The government is increasingly laying emphasis on widening the scope of private sector participation for development of power generation resources. The National Energy Policy sets out a plan for development of power generation resources of medium to large size. The Power Services Regulation Act explicitly allows for private sector involvement in the generation and provision of electricity services. Afghanistan's Sustainable Development Goal enshrines private sector participation, both domestic and foreign. The Renewable Energy Policy focuses on several aspects of the energy sector, including, but not limited to, engaging with the private sector, financing, and tariff rationalization for renewable energy projects. The Energy Efficiency Policy is a timely initiative that facilitates a private investment-led energy efficiency market in long term. The Afghanistan Energy Investment Policy and the Afghanistan Feed-in Tariff Policy are in the process of being formally approved. Current electricity network system. Afghanistan's current electricity network system is categorized into 4 networks, which supply 9 different power grids or islands: Northeast Power System, NEPS, Southeast Power System, SEPS, Herat Zone linking Iran, and the Turkmenistan system. Afghanistan's electricity consumption per capita. Afghanistan's electricity consumption stands at 195 kilowatt-hours per year per person, which is low as compared to South Asia's average of 667 kilowatt-hours per year per person and the global average electricity usage of 3,100 kilowatt-hours per year per person. Access to electricity. The energy sector has witnessed major progress since 2002. In 2002, only 6% of Afghans had access to electricity. Today, approximately over 40% have access. Enhancing access to about 85% over the next 5 years is a high priority of the government. Power generation and transmission profile. Afghanistan has a total generation capacity of around 1,627 megawatts. Currently, the total installed generation capacity of the Afghanistan power system stands at 615 megawatts, out of which hydropower constitutes 53%, while diesel heavy fuel oil-based thermal power plants constitute 35%, diesel generators constitute 12%, and 8% of power generation comes from renewable energy sources. Over 1,000 megawatts of total electricity supply is imported from neighboring countries, which constitutes almost 3/4 of the total energy consumption. Power generation resources potential. Afghanistan is building its energy sector to provide the backbone for its socio-economic development. The Ministry of Energy and Water has outlined plans to source 5,000 megawatts, or 95% of the country's electricity supply, from domestic renewable energy resources by 2032. Afghanistan is endowed with significant renewable power generation resources. It has renewable energy potential of solar energy, 222,000 megawatts, wind energy, 67,000 megawatts, hydropower, 23,000 megawatts, and biomass, 4,000 megawatts. It also has large gas reserves that can be gainfully exploited for power generation. The technical resource potential maps, namely solar, wind, hydropower, and biomass resource potential maps, developed by the Ministry of Energy and Water, provide information on the renewable energy potential and installed generation capacity in Afghanistan, planned power generation projects. In order to reduce reliance on electricity imports and to boost private sector investment, the Ministry of Energy and Water has released the Energy Sector 5-Year Plan, which includes power generation and transmission projects. Total estimated investment requirement. The total investment requirement for generation and transmission projects is estimated at $6 billion. The current commitment of the Afghan government and development partners make up about $1.5 to $2 billion of the total investment requirement. The funding gap of $4 to $4.5 billion is expected to be covered by 50 to 60% from donors, 30% from investment by private sector, and the remaining 10% will come from the government. A uniform integrated power grid. Currently, Afghanistan's power network system is not integrated, which is important for reliable power supply. To ensure security and reliability in supply, a single integrated grid will be established by forming a 500 kilovolt ring linking the 9 different islands. The 220 kilovolt and 110 kilovolt substations and transmission lines will further deliver power to the provinces and districts respectively. The black spots and lines show existing substations. The green spots and lines show funded substations. The pink lines show unfunded substations. By 2020, domestic power generation will increase over 2,000 megawatts. Power generation from renewable energy will reach 500 megawatts. Around 1,000 technicians will be graduated. The new developments will bring in up to 20,000 jobs in the energy sector. Up to 60,000 indirect employment opportunities will be created. Why invest in Afghanistan's energy sector? There is huge potential for developing power projects. A strong government commitment for investment climate reform. Political commitment to principles of free market economy and private sector development. A free market economy led by private sector initiatives. Rapid economic growth. GDP growth from $2.2 billion in 2002 to $21.8 billion in 2014. Improved legal and institutional framework for investment. Flexible tax and duty regime. 20% corporate tax, 0% duty on import of machinery, and 1% duty on import of raw materials. 100% foreign ownership. No restriction on profit repatriation. Foreign investors can lease real estate for periods of up to 90 years for arable land or longer for non-arable land. Allocation of requisite land. Security assistance. Afghanistan's energy sector is on the move. Come and invest today.